Hey, what's going on everybody? NGS back again for another video. Today I want to bring you guys my top anticipated games for 2013. Before we get into that, I want to talk a bit about video gaming in 2012, as I haven't done my top games of 2012 yet. I don't know when I'm going to get to do it, so I'm just telling you that right now for those who are wondering. When it came to 2012, from the beginning towards the end, overall I think that 2012 was a pretty decent year in video gaming. It was kind of weird the way things went. There were a lot of highlights, high points, and there were a lot of slumps, and it just kept going like that for the majority of the year. But overall, I think that 2012 had a pretty good starting lineup for games the first 4 or 5 months or so. But as we dipped into the summer feeling, of course, we didn't really get too many great games until the conclusion of the summer. And then the fall season, I know I'm going to catch a lot of flack for this, but I really didn't think the fall season of video games for last year was too enticing. I mean, of course, you had big titles like Halo 4, Borderlands 2, and Assassin's Creed 3. It just didn't feel as exciting and action-packed as previous years. But, you know, that's just me. You guys are entitled to your own opinion on what you thought about it. But now that's in the past, let's look on to 2013 when it comes to video gaming. And mind you, I already know that the year has started out, so a couple of games have already released. So one title in particular I am going to mention from the start is not going to be on my top 10 list, but it will take a spot up, and you'll understand as I get closer into the video. So let's move straight into the honorable mentions portion. Honorable mentions is essentially the games that I am still really looking forward to, but they aren't going to make my top 10. They aren't going to be, you know, those must-buys, day ones, etc., etc., etc. Honorable mentions includes games that are releasing this year and or games that we think would hit this year window. So first things first, we have Watch Dogs. As you guys know, Watch Dogs was pretty much the premier title out of E3 last year. It stole the show. Everybody was just wowed by the concept, the visuals. I still don't know how they're going to pull that off with current gen hardware, but Watch Dogs is looking fantastic. I can't wait to see what Ubisoft has planned for this game. While we do know a little bit of how the game is going to play, we still don't know everything about it. Is it going to be an open world? Is it going to be an espionage game? Or like, what the heck is going to happen in this game? Is it going to be straight up gunplay mixed in with these weird hacking RPG elements? Who's to say? But Watch Dogs is looking fantastic. I'm not sure if it's going to hit the 2013 window, hence why it's on this list. But if it does, that is awesome. I'm definitely going to pick it up. But if it doesn't, well, at least we got an awesome game that'll work into my 2014 top 10 list. Next up, we have Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider is the upcoming reboot of the well-renowned Tomb Raider franchise. I can't really say much on this in terms of excitement, simply due to the fact that I haven't been looking up much on this. I did get a chance, however, to demo the game out at New York Comic Con, and one of the fears that I had leading into the game was that it would be too much of an Uncharted clone. Now, before people come in here and say, "Oh, why are you saying that Tomb Raider is an Uncharted clone? It's the other way around. Uncharted borrowed inspiration from Tomb Raider." Yes, that is true, but however, you know, the times have changed, and while Uncharted did draw a lot of inspiration from Tomb Raider, it still did its own thing. So one of the things I was worried about is I felt that this would just be like the multi-plat Uncharted. However, I can safely report that that is not the case. Tomb Raider has taken inspiration from Uncharted. It's modernized itself and just created its whole brand new identity. It's looking pretty sweet. Graphics look phenomenal. The demo that I did play, it was pretty, how I say this, it did really hold your hand a lot. It did rely a lot on QTEs, and there really wasn't much going on. However, I don't really think that's the entire game. I think that Crystal Dynamics is being pretty strategic in what they're doing. They don't want to give you all of the big OMG, WTF moments straight up in the demo, which, you know, good thing or bad thing, what have you. But from what I played, I did enjoy the experience. I can't wait to see what else they have in store. The game releases in March, so it's one of the big heavy hitters of the year. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how this one fares in terms of how it's going to handle. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how. People receive this new Tomb Raider. It is taking a pretty drastic change from the other games in the series. I personally do like the change. I think that going back to the beginning and establishing Lara Croft's character will work out better, because I think now she's a lot more well-rounded, and insert all this stuff about emotional and all this shit and sexist marketing, all that BS controversy. Coming in at number 3 on the honorable mentions list, we have The Wonderful 101. This is created by the Jiztastic guys over at Platinum Games. Do I really need to say who these guys are? All you need to know is that they're Jiztastic. This game looks freaking awesome. Is it going to make you buy a Wii U? I sure hope so. It's like a combination of Pikmin, but with the Platinum Games sort of vibe, and it's just all kinds of craziness. So whenever I do pick up a Wii U, I will pick up this game because it just looks phenomenal. And speaking of Pikmin-like, we have Pikmin 3. It's been a long time coming, but we're finally getting the third installment in the Pikmin trilogy. I don't know why it took this long, but what have you, Pikmin 3 is coming. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, again, another game that, why did it take them this long to do a sequel to? It's looking great. It's releasing on the 3DS. Luigi's Mansion was a pretty interesting title when it launched. I didn't think a lot of people would be too turned on to the idea, because when they think Luigi, for some reason they think Mario style gameplay, but this was a completely different experience. It was Luigi meets Ghostbusters, and you know, for what it was, I really did enjoy the game. Maybe that's just to me, my age at the time. Maybe I was just into that. Maybe I was just looking for something new to play on my GameCube, but I really did enjoy it, albeit however short and easy it was. But the new game does look pretty interesting, so that drops in just a couple of weeks on the 3DS. And the last on the honorable mentions list, we have Injustice: Gods Among Us. This is a brand new IP from the guys over at NetherRealm Studios, what Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe should have been. And if you like anything about DC characters, Mortal Kombat with a story that looks quasi-interesting, then I think this is the game for you. I'm really liking the tone that they're taking on this. It is kind of weird though that the majority of the roster is the Batman family, which, you know, some people don't have a problem with because, oh, it's Batman, it's freaking awesome, but come on. There's more to DC than Batman, surprisingly. I'm just going to say that right now. Now that we've gotten all those honorable mentions out of the way, let's get on to the top 10. Like I said, these are just my personal picks for top 10 games of the year. Everything, of course, is subjective, so feel free to comment down below on all of your most anticipated games of the year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who, what, whatever, how many you have. Like I mentioned earlier, there was going to be one game on the list that already came out, but it is going to take up a slot, and that game, of course, is being Mii No Kuni. It launched a couple of days ago, and I have yet to play the game. It's still in the packaging. I want to get onto it at some point, but I have to complete so many other games. But I did want to pick it up because I have a strange feeling that this game is going to go out of print very quick for some reason, unbeknownst to me. I just have some. It's more of a JRPG thing nowadays. It's like the printings that they do for the games are a lot fewer and far between, so it's best that you get it when it comes out and leave it in the packaging. It's not like buying a game like Halo and then saying, gee, I better buy this game right now because it's going to go out of print real quick. There was just something that prompted me to pick this one up. I just picked up the standard edition, not the Wizard edition, because, well, I didn't have money at the time to purchase it, and considering all the controversy that's going on with people not getting their Wizard editions and all that BS, I'm kind of glad that I got the game over waiting an extra week for it. And before you say, well, you're not even going to play it, shut up. Anyway, number 9 on the list is Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 3. I did a little update a while back talking about Storm 3 and its recent news circulations, and I realized that I really didn't spend much time to talk about some of the things that they're implementing, mainly due to the fact that most of this stuff is expected in terms of character, in terms of story. They are rolling out a lot more alternate costumes as DLC, which is... It is what it is, what you think about downloadable content, but I think that the game is looking great. When it comes to the Storm games, I don't really play them as competitive as some people here on YouTube do. I just mainly play them for the fun experience. But I can see, however, how some people really do dislike the Storm games in terms of fighting. Yes, even in terms of the fighting field, people got a lot of problems with the Storm games. Mainly Generations, from what I've been seeing in all of my videos from my subs. You know, personally, to me, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I would have loved for them to go all out and go in-depth and give each character, you know, specific movesets and specific combos to them and make it all, you know, in-depth, but that doesn't seem to be the case with what's going on. So I understand the complaints that people have, and I think that's rightfully so, but, you know, whatever, to each their own in that situation. If you like the game, that's great, buy it. If you don't like it, if you think it's bullshit, then skip over it. I'm going to get Storm 3, considering the fact that I did not pick up Generations, and I'll just judge it for myself when it comes out. So, number 9 on the list, Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 3. Number 8 on the list is a game that's out in just under 2 weeks, Sly Cooper: Thieves in Time. It's been a really long time since we've seen another Sly Cooper game, considering the fact that most of Sony studios have moved forward with new IPs for the 7th generation. You had Insomniac Games with Resistance, you had Naughty Dog with Uncharted, and then you had Sucker Punch doing Infamous. And while the previous 2 developers did handle other series in the meantime, Insomniac still worked on Ratchet & Clank games, and now Naughty Dog is debuting a new IP, The Last of Us, Sucker Punch has really been moot, and they've been focusing on just the infamous series. So considering the fact that they've been doing that, the series Sly Cooper was really up in the air. Are we going to see another installment from this generation, next generation? One of Sony's smaller, lesser studios, Senzara Games, who has worked on spin-off titles for the other Sony mascot series, was now given the reins in this, and I gotta say that Sly Cooper Thieves in Time is looking fan-freaking-tastic. Again, it's another title that I'm not really trying to know too much about because I want to be excited when I go through it, and considering the fact that I probably won't be able to play this game much since I still have to complete Sly Cooper 3, yeah, that's another reason why I'm not really trying to get too invested into this. But from what I have been seeing, the small snippets of gameplay here and there, it does look like it's staying really true to the core of what made Sly Cooper great back in the day. Senzara Games, please, please, please don't fuck this up. Please, please, please don't look at it and just say, wow, that's awesome, and then you play it and it's like, this is a piece of shit. I know that's not the case because, you know, maybe it's just my bias or I'm scared, or I don't know, there's just something lingering in the back of my head. Whatever, Sly Cooper Thieves in Time is number 8 on the list. Number 7 is a game we know, what, one thing about, and that's Beyond Two Souls. Now the reason why this ranks on my top 10 list is simply due to the fact the developer behind it, Quantic Dream. They made, as you guys know, Indigo Prophecy in this generation, Heavy Rain on the PlayStation 3. To each their own on Heavy Rain. I know a lot of people love the game due to its uniqueness and its storytelling, all the branching paths, while a lot of people hate it for the voice acting and they feel like it takes too much control away from the player. I personally loved Heavy Rain. There were some aspects I would have changed, mainly due to the voice acting. I think the voice acting for a lot of moments in the game was pretty freaking bad. And there were a lot of questionable accents from these actors who portrayed these characters. Agent Norman Jaden, FBI. Norman Jaden? I thought his name was Norman Jaden. Anyway, even though we only know little about the game from that first trailer that came out at E3, I have high hopes for the game. It's launching this year, I believe Q1. So it's going to be really interesting to see the route they go with this. I doubt it's going to be really similar to Heavy Rain in terms of how that game played out. I think it's going to be a lot more action-packed, and they're going to do a whole bunch of supernatural crazy shiz. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see how that plays out, but we can't say until we get our hands on the final product. Now moving on to number 6, we have the finale in the Operation Rainfall trilogy campaign, Pandoras Tower. Now, out of all 3 of their Operation Rainfall games, I gotta say this is the one I was least looking forward to, but considering the fact that this is gonna give me an opportunity to play my Wii in 2013, which I didn't think I'd touch the Wii, yeah, that's why this game ranks up this high. Pandoras Tower is another game from the Operation Rainfall team, and I'm just so glad that gamers got together and they stood up for what they believe in. They wanted these games, so they put in the extra effort to contact Nintendo to do all of this advertising campaign, and they got rewarded in the end. I think that is freaking amazing, and it really does go to show, if you gamers speak up with your voices, then almost anything is possible. So all those people out there who are content with the bullshit that we're seeing in the industry, we got games over here that we probably would have never gotten if not for gamers speaking up. So, if we can do this for a Nintendo system, why can't you people say no to things like on-disc DLC? Say no to companies ripping you off? Why can't you do that? Why? Not getting into a rant right now, but there you go. Pandoras Tower, you guys pretty much know everything about the game. It's been out in Japan for like, what, a year, 2 years? It came out in Europe last year. Ranking in at number 5 on the list, we have Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, one of the weirdest titles in gaming history. I don't know. Personally, I think they should have called it Rising, and then if they ever did a sequel or a downloadable expansion pack, Revengeance, maybe that. Now, from when they announced this game, I was pretty skeptical on what they were going to do, considering the fact that it was a Metal Gear game. And as you guys know, I'm not the biggest fan of Metal Gear at all. There's just something about the series, I can't get into it. I've tried to go into it multiple times, starting from different entries in the series, but nothing really clicks for me. But when I heard that they were going to be doing more of an action-based game, I was like, huh, interesting. Slow your ropes, okay? But there were a lot of developmental problems going in and out. There were times when we wouldn't hear anything about the game until the VGAs 2011, where Konami revealed that the entire game was scrapped and given to Platinum Games to start anew, and that's pretty much where we are here. I know a lot of people like to complain, saying this is a betrayal of the Metal Gear series and it's so action-packed for the casual Xbox fans. Guys, it's a spin-off. A spin-off for Raiden. what would you expect they do? You want another game to play out exactly like Snake? I mean, come on, seriously. That's why they had the good intention of dropping the solid title in there, and they just put Metal Gear Rising, Revengeance, Lightning Bolt Action, whatever you want to say. If you're a Metal Gear fan and you don't like the take on the series, that's perfectly fine, but the intentions of the series were pretty much established from the beginning. It's going to be a hardcore action game with minor stealth elements. It's not like something saying, oh, well, this is an action game, we're going to try to make sure it appeals to all the Metal Gear fans out there. It's not like that. You going into this, you should really understand what they're doing with it. And I really do like it. It's made by Platinum Games, the guys who gave us Bayonetta, the guys who gave us Beautiful Joe, the guys who gave us Anarchy Reigns, so you know this game is going to be good. And from what I played in the actual demo, I have nothing but the highest regards for the game. I really do love the slice and dice system, and it's really shaping up to be one of the greatest hack and slash games released this year. Well, what else do we have this year? Well, we have God of War Ascension, yeah. We had DMC. Nobody wants that casual shit. Anyway, number 5, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. Alright, coming in at number 4, this game in particular has one badass theme. And really, I'm not going to say what the theme is, I'm just going to play it. Cue the music! Fire Emblem Awakening for the Nintendo 3DS. I don't need to say anything else. It's fucking Fire Emblem. By default, I'm going to pick up the game. I own almost every single Fire Emblem game that was released here in the States. Kind of sucks that Nintendo doesn't have the right mind to go back and release all the older games on the eShop. Translate them, sub them, do what you got to do. Please, just give us the older games. But regardless of that, again, another game where if you speak up, you're loud enough, these companies will listen to you and they will give you your game. So then it's up to us to show that we support the game. So purchase Fire Emblem Awakening when it comes out. If you're into strategy RPGs whatsoever, I think you're going to love this. If you love stuff like Advance Wars, if you love just strategy RPGs in general, I think you are going to have a blast with Fire Emblem Awakening. It's going to definitely give me a reason to get back into playing my 3DS, considering the fact that I'm almost done with Kingdom Hearts 3D. I'm going to need something else, need another RPG, and this is perfectly going to fill the gap. Alright, now we're entering the top 3 games that I'm looking forward to this year. A word of warning, all of these games, they could have been tied for my number 1 of the year. So, you can just look at this as being, if this game gets delayed, if this game gets pushed back into 2014, which I really hope one of them doesn't, then another one will fill the slot, and that will be vice versa. It will shuffle back and forth. Number 3 on the list is The Last of Us. Naughty Dog. New IP, 2 development teams. Yeah, I don't really need to explain myself much on The Last of Us, considering the fact that it's a game from the most brilliant developer this generation out of Sony, Naughty Dog. However, going into it, I had a lot of skepticism. I was thinking that it would just be Uncharted mixed with zombies, but after seeing a lot more gameplay of it, that is certainly not the case. I still have my doubts about it. I am kind of scared for certain aspects because the recent stuff that I've been seeing is looking a lot, I guess, not to say disappointing, but it's kind of uneasy for me. However, it's Naughty Dog. We're guaranteed to see a stellar experience in terms of character development and story. It's going to be interesting to see how they're going to work in that multiplayer. I don't really think the game needed it, but if it's straight up survival, if it's straight up, you know, only a couple bullets per gun and you really have to think on your toes and you have to use teamwork to get out of certain situations, I think it can work out. If it's just straight up team deathmatch, that's just Naughty Dog. Don't work on multiplayer. Just don't. Uncharted 2, that was great because it was so basic. Uncharted 3, no! Kickbacks, no! Number 2 on the list was a title that I would cry myself to sleep considering the fact that I never thought that we would get it here in the States. Tales of Xillia. You guys know me. You know my addiction to Tales. You know how insane I will get. Anyone who frequented my recent live stream, you will know how much I love Tales. You will know how little of a tolerance I have for people who be cracking on Tales. Especially the Graces F intro. If this game sells well, they said they'll bring over the sequel, Xillia 2, which we're probably not going to see for another year, but whatever. I'm glad to see that we are getting more Tales games in the States. This is definitely a series that is, on demand in terms of, you want more games coming out over here? Well, you gotta support them. It's not just a series that can support itself because it has a massive fan base. It is pretty much a niche title. It doesn't have the Final Fantasy. It doesn't have, the Call of Duty numbers in order to, justify them pooping out all the games even if they don't get good sales on it. From the gameplay that I have seen, it's looking like it's gonna be another stellar Tales title. I still do wish that we would have gotten freaking Vesperia PS3. I just look at that and I'm just so jealous. I mean, I see all my friends importing it. It's like 20 bucks now, but I'm like, I want it over here. I wouldn't mind playing through Vesperia again. I played through Vesperia like 3 times now, but the PS3 bonus content and Patty and voice acting and new dungeons and arts and now we move on to number 1 of the most anticipated game of 2013.
I promise to cherish eternally. You're the only one to lead me through this life. I wish that our hearts could be one. I wish that our hearts could be one.
Yeah, all y'all will think twice about that, won't ya? Yeah, you will. BioShock Infinite. Wait, nope. Nope, nope, nope. Game got delayed into 2014. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Game got delayed till next year. No! No, no! It's chilling with Kingdom Hearts in 2024. That game has had far, far too many delays. Here's hoping it actually releases on time. BioShock Infinite is looking like it's going to be the true sequel to Irrational Games, 2K Boston's BioShock. I can't believe it's been more than 5 years since that game came out. By the time this game releases, it'll be almost 6, so that's just like, wow. It has been subject to a lot of delays, which has taken its toll on the fan base, mainly me. So I'm just going to hope for the best and hope it's not going to be mediocre because I love BioShock. I love the universe. I love the characters. Heck, I even enjoyed BioShock 2. So, Irrational Games, please don't disappoint me. Please don't make it that Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Please just don't do that. Don't do that. I'm all for making it more adrenaline pumped, but please keep the heart, the essence, the integrity that made us fall in love with Rapture in the first place. Do that for Columbia or wherever the heck this new game is. Do it. Make it awesome. Make it a Skyline and Elizabeth and Troy Baker, all that stuff. I want to leave this universe and love it so much that I never want to go back to it. Because I don't want to spoil the experience. I want to keep those memories intact. Please do that for me, Rational. Please. And no more delays. You gotta stop that shit. You gotta. Anyway, those were my honorable mentions and my top games that I'm looking forward to in the year of 2013. E3 is in just a couple months, so we'll have to see on what games they announce. Hopefully, I'm thinking more JRPGs, preferably on the Vita and the 3DS. I really want to play more of those. And I think this E3 is going to be pretty interesting considering the fact that we are going to hear an announcement of next generation from either Sony or Microsoft, maybe both. And I think in terms of games that they're going to be releasing for this generation, I don't think we're going to see as much as previous years. I think they're going to try to get out their best titles now and then, focus 90% on the next gen but still leave a little bit of, focus on this generation. I've been recording for almost half an hour. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. I'm like, yeah, all over the place. Anyway, post your comments, post your video responses on your most anticipated games of 2013. I am NGS signing out, and like always, I will catch you guys later. Peace.